Hey, Jim.
Everybody ready? Y'all ready? Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Horn Lake Board of Alderman meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Appreciate everyone coming out. Thank you, Mr. John Mark, for coming up here and helping us with all the high-tech stuff. I'd like to recognize Mr. Bakken and Mr. Randall with the Fourth Estate here tonight. We appreciate y'all coming, especially get all the citizens out here. Good government depends on y'all being involved. I hope you didn't come in here just to get out of the heat and get in the air condition. At this time, I'd like to ask Alderman Bledsoe for our invocation. Thank you, sir. Would you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance led by Alderman Dave Young?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
That sounded really, really nice. Roll call, please, Miss Julie.
Alderman Klein.
Here.
Alderman Bledsoe. Here. Alderman Guy.
Here.
Alderman Bostic.
Here.
Alderman Johnson.
Here.
Alderman Dupree.
Here.
Alderman Young.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. Number one on the agenda is the vote on the municipal docket. Do we have a motion?
Mayor.
Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to approve the municipal docket.
Motion by Alderman Geis.
Second.
Second by Alderman Dupree. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein. Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Guy.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Number two on the agenda is the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Johnson.
I move that we accept the consent agenda, items A through J.
We have a motion by Alderman Johnson. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Guy.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Klein.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Moving on down, number three is the claims docket. Do we have a motion?
Mayor.
Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to approve the claims docket. General fund, $238,028.32. The library fund, $3,170.07. The economic development fund, $4,297.50. The utility fund, $45,504.40, for a total docket of $291,000.29.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Young. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein. Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Guy.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. We're down to number 4, special gifts and presentations. The first item, letter A, is a proclamation for National Night Out. Mrs. Dupree and Mrs. Young and numerous others have really worked to make this a special occasion for the city and for our citizens and for our guests. I certainly ask you to please come out, support it. The Attorney General of the state of Mississippi, Ms. Lynn Finch, will be here. So let's give her a good Horn Lake welcome. At this time, I would like to read the proclamation. Whereas the city of Horn Lake, Mississippi is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Horn Lake. And whereas the National Night Out is an annual community building campaign that promotes police and community partnerships. And whereas the National Night Out campaign began in the early 1980s and held the first event August 7th, 1984. And whereas the first annual National Night Out involved 2.5 million neighbors across 400 communities in 23 states. And whereas the National Night Out has grown to impacting over 40 million residents and 16,000 communities across the United States. And whereas the National Night Out in Horn Lake will also recognize the growing work with the Horn Lake Neighborhood Watch to help make our city a safer place to live. And whereas the National Night Out is recognized every year during the first Saturday of August, and therefore I, Mayor Allen B. Latimer, do hereby proclaim July the 30th, 2022 as the City of Horn Lake National Night Out. And I urge all the people of Horn Lake to participate in this community event and to support the public safety personnel. Please try to come out. I think there's even going to be a tug of war between the police department and the fire departments. Please come out. At this time, I'd like to recognize Mr. T.J. Cates to give a report to the board and to the citizens on economic development. Mr. Cates, please. Good evening, sir. Yes, sir.
I want to thank everybody for having me and allowing me to do what I do. It's kind of funny because I'm more of a phone person, but some people like to text, some people like to call. I like to do face to face. So what I do, bringing the business that I am bringing is a lot of cold calls, old school cold calls. I've been doing that with Costco. I've been doing that with some other people. I'm working on some supermarkets right now. But I did put together this little slideshow. I think I did it correctly. You know what's funny in DeSoto County too is knowing all the mayors and all the people, we'll get comments. I'll get comments. They'll see what's going on. So I'm just going to wave to everybody that are watching our YouTube to see what's making Horn Lake be Horn Lake right now. We're doing great stuff. Click it, and that's it. Okay. This, I want to thank everybody that had a lot to do with our Chickasaw Park that we're doing right now. We had a wonderful day out there last week. Thank you so much for clearing out. I don't know how you did everything you did in like 2 days. But anyway, we had search and rescue out of DeSoto County. We had Lee Perkins Caldwell. We had Mayor Latimer. We had Representative Shelby that came up from Tupelo. And I just got a report from her 5 minutes before I walked in the door. They're ready to move a little faster than we originally thought. They want to go ahead and get a map. They want to get naming on the trails. I'm really excited. They got a wonderful report. We should have the elders in town, hopefully around September, October to come in town. And they want to put their feet on the ground. They want to bless it. So this is what we have. If you're not familiar with it, it's 416 acres that Mr. Dave Young and I had coffee last summer. And I always say it all started with a cup of coffee on Gilmore Road. And he said, there's some ideas I have. I want to see if we can help. And he showed me this. I'm like, how is that not possible that that's developed? And then we started looking into it, and Bob, that we came in, and he said, well, it's floodway, floodplains, and things you cannot do. And after the 8 years I spent in Nashville, I learned how we have people constantly that went in like an inner city park. So hiking trails, and then Mayor Latimer said, besides hunting out there on the property and rabbits with the beagles, he said, you know, I think the Chickasaw used to live out there. So I talked to Rob Long, one of my good friends, Docket County Museum, and he knew all about it. He reached out, and it was just kind of snowballed. This is going to be an amazing park, lots of walking trails. We have eagles out there. We have the flight pattern down there. They actually have, from the early 1800s, there's a map overlay of this exact land that shows where they hunted, where they lived, and each, what I learned last time, link out of it, there's actually, everybody got 1 acre of land to live on, to farm, right there on that land that we have here. So I'm hoping to get national press, national attention around October whenever we have our meeting. This is Parks Department. They came out, and we had so many ATVs, and then we got out and walked quite a bit. And this is our group, and thank you so much, Mark Randall. I think put some front pages of paper. That really made a big deal, and this was sent, Rob came by and got some of the papers, and he mailed it to Oklahoma and to Tupelo, and they all read them, and it was just amazing for the. This is some of the people I want to give some thanks to. Joe's going to, once he got here. This is what I do, because I'm a media-based person anyway, is I keep a good, strong working relationship with all of our media, and I want to make sure that they know what we're doing and what we have coming up. I'm gonna be on the, next one I'm gonna do, the radio, North Mississippi Talk Radio FM. We're gonna do that at 9:15 Friday morning. It's out of Oxford, Mississippi. Everybody's really intrigued by the Chickasaw Nation, and the Chickasaw Park and everything that we've got going on. This is one of the projects that I was presented to. It's on the corner of Mill Road and Interstate Boulevard. We own that property, and I think we sold it for $175,000, is what Mr. Chad or Jim told me. And we sold it to Dale Wilson, but Dale Wilson didn't want to sell it for the offer that they made. I think it was $350,000. So what I did was I started working with them a little bit, and so, you know, if that land's not gonna work out for you, let's find somewhere else. These developers are looking, right now, they're doing like a 90-day due diligence, checking everything to make sure it's working out, and doing feasibility studies. And this is actually at Allen Road in Goodman. They're gonna do something similar to this. I don't know if Chad's seen any plans that they brought in on Allen Road. Okay. That's kind of what I like to do, because I've been a realtor since '94, is that's another thing I do, is I keep a close working relationship with all the realtors that are out here and working our area, because it'll hit them, and realtors like to talk and brag. So talk to them, go by and take them some donuts on a Tuesday morning during the meeting, and just talk to them and see what they have going on. One of the other things I do to meet these realtors that are out here, if you ever see my truck and you see all the mud and I wear a suit but I have a really muddy truck, is I'm usually off-road, up on the hill somewhere, kicking out weeds, finding an old sign that's washed out, that you can barely read, and I'll take a picture of it and I'll go back and call it, because it's almost always gonna be the landowner, or it's gonna be a real estate agent that lost the listing 2 or 3 years ago, and they'll contact the owner. And that just really benefited recently on 2 other properties that just are under contract, and Horn Lake again, do the due diligence to make sure it works out for them. So I did that for a company out of Nashville that I met with last week, that's wanting to open up on a 1-acre parcel and have a lot, and I need to find them some land, so I found them some land on Goodman Road. That's kind of what I do. This is a lady that Chad sent to me about 4 months ago, and he was really busy. If you ever noticed all those brick buildings just west of the railroad tracks, they're 40, 50, what are they, Mayor, like 60, 70, 80 years old?
But you mean east of the river?
Yes, sir. East, yeah.
They're at least 60.
I contacted Alderwoman Johnson because I could see some mutual ground there. I had an investor that came out of Chicago, and Bill Sexton had this property listed for a long, long time. And then I talked to Bill and everybody in his office, and they said that they actually had a contract on it, it was gonna close. I said, can I get the information? And we contacted a really sweet lady. Well, she came down, and she was originally gonna open a nursery, but working with the planning department, I told her, I said, well, there's 2 other nursery buildings right there. That are gonna be right beside you. So what we talked to is we brought her in, I met with her twice, and I wanna get like Senator Parker's building next to the railroad track that's over there. I wanna start possibly, Dave's idea, to give that whole area a look of older buildings, but they're new. And this is something that she's looking at. We're gonna build a 2-story medical professional building there, and she's got me looking for more land up and down Goodman Road. So hopefully we'll get those eyesore houses away, because now that y'all got the street paved and we got our LED lighting, Goodman Road just looks so much better when you get off the 55. And if it's us getting off the 55, investors are coming in and they're seeing what we're doing too. So this is what she's proposing, not necessarily that. We should get renderings in about 4 to 5 days of exactly what our architect, we met with him a couple weeks ago. And real sharp architect. He's got some really cool ideas. So what we did, we gave him a picture and let them see what we're trying to match up. So I think that would be cool to set all that in to match the train depot look. And then we've also talked to an investor on the land next to Walmart Market. It's been open for sale forever. And we're talking about putting in a center city where it's a little bit of a smaller style of property. And we carry this thing all the way together. This is the RV park. that I've been working with Mr. Sam Patel for quite a few months, the same realtor that's working on another one of our projects. And this is on, you know, when you come in from, say, from Goodman Road going south, on the east side of the street, there's those two big parcels that are open, that's the Bingo Park. Well, those have been there since I was a kid in the seventies and eighties in Colonial Hills. So their biggest fear, they have contract for doing due diligence, they're gonna pull the contract because of the fear of the levy. So the mayor was able to give me, I think, was it you, somebody that gave me the number to the Corps of Engineers in Memphis, and had a really good conversation with him, and I told him, I can't get progress because of the fear of the levy. And then that's when he insured me, he said it would take Congress to fund it, all the supervisors in the county would have to be on board, and if there's already a structure and a building and a business, we'll build around. So, help that community. So this is what we're looking at, it's gonna kind of be like a travel lodge, like we used to have back in the fifties and sixties, which ties in perfectly with the eco park, the parks and the areas that we're doing. This is just some of the pictures. I'll send an email to all the aldermen, y'all probably already saw. This is some of the projects that we have working right now, and I feel pretty strong about. I just kind of color coded it. Right there in the green is where we're gonna go next to the little neighborhood, I think it's Audit Station. That's where the RV park is going in. And I was reached out to another investor, which is funny how they all talk. And he wanted to know if I could talk to the other people that own the other RV parks to see if they wanted to come in and sell. That seems to be, and these are hotel owners that are wanting to get into the RV parks. 4-story hotel, which is Ron Patel, different Patel. He's going in, and then he put a sign up for his Orlake's largest gas station, you know, the fueling station, but everybody is not going to allow them to come in parking overnight. 4 or 5 areas cleared out behind. That's going to service that. Yellow is Bill Wilson. He's building some 5,000 square foot, I believe it is, little warehouses like for carpet companies, plumbing companies, kind of that situation. And I'm trying to figure out what he's going to do with that corner. He said he's going to do something. So we'll see. I did talk, and I kind of, the reason I put dots up there because I like to connect. So we've got a dot down there at the baby blue, and I just found out about that after talking to Dale Wilson. That's going to be 2 hotel lots now, but we're waiting to connect Pepper Chase and Church Road to that area. So when they, and I don't know that exactly, but what we need to, so I talked to my hotel owners, hotels, so I told them we've got 2 of those, so they've already committed. Whenever it happens, and they want to do that, if it's more lodging. Because if we keep bringing people in to visit and spend tourism dollars, we have to find a place. I think that's it. I got a video. Talk to my.
Thank you for the excellent presentation and for the excellent work you're doing. You're one busy young man. Does anyone on the board have any questions or comments for Mr. Cates?
You said you had a video?
I have a really cool video.
How long is it?
1 o'clock last night with my folks. I was having some.
Not
Dan
very.
and Daniel were nice enough to be.
Alderman Bostic want to know,
They said be ready tomorrow.
Alderman Bostic want to know how long was the video?
It's about 2 minutes.
You have it available so we can skip
We're fixing to watch it right now.
Okay.
Carl Farrell from Fox and Film donated the.
It's a city on the move. It's one of the fastest growing cities in the southeast. With its unique location near the Mississippi River ports, Memphis International Airport, the new I-269 interstate system, Horn Lake is a distribution dream. Amazon just chose us as their choice in North Mississippi for their Mid-South distribution center. Horn Lake has everything that makes it a great place to live, work, and play. You're moving your family, your business, or just stopping in for the day, Horn Lake is your place to stay. We have a new 400 acres Native American eco park near development with hiking trails named after Chickasaw people that once lived here. We have world-class parks with baseball, softball, tennis, fishing, frisbee golf, and even the new popular sport pickleball. If you want to talk about food, go no further. Along with everyone's favorite national chains, you'll find some of those unique eateries all over town that showcase our diversity. With great schools, shopping, and excellent support from our city leaders, you're ensured to enjoy big city benefits in a small town setting. Only 20 minutes from downtown Memphis, Tunica Casino is the world headquarters for companies like FedEx, International Paper, and AutoZone. You can enjoy a short commute to work and world-class entertainment. We now have multiple new home developments going up for the most affordable home prices in the area, with the same amenities you expect in much more expensive areas. Our city planning department focuses on a true fit for everyone with strong attention to details that make sense. We recently acquired the nation's largest home builder to plant a flag and start neighborhoods right here. With a new rental code to curb the national trend for corporate remote investor-owned rentals, we are doing our part to ensure our homes are for families wanting to enjoy the American dream of home ownership. So when you travel down that interstate and land in North Mississippi, be sure and take a right and see what Horn Lake has to offer. We have the lodging, camping, and dining that makes us the best choice for everyone. You may just see why so many others are calling us home. We'd love to have you.
That is really nice. Thank you.
Our grass is just as green on the side of I-55, it's just as pretty, our land's more affordable, and everybody's talking about the way that y'all are all so easy to work with, and they're not getting closed out by the city. They still have their strict rules by Mr. Chad, and we're all respecting that, and he does his pre-planning meeting, which is a big bonus for some of the people that come in, because it's hard to get through city hall, so you guys are doing great. I'm gonna use this and blast this all around the country, and like you and I talked to, Mayor, we wanna get corporate headquarters here, and with our tax breaks they get from Jackson, is a really big thing.
Could you send that to our email so we could have access to that we could share also?
Oh, yeah, I'll put it on YouTube, but I'd like to give it to our IT person so they can put it on our media, because it needs to start from Horn Lake's pages, in my opinion, the Facebook page. You know, I mean, you can share it from mine, but it's got free stuff, it's got,
Mr. Farrell did a good job narrating that.
yeah. So we wanted to start, we want the driving force to go back to Horn Lake, go back to Horn Lake. I think it'll work. Do y'all have any questions?
Anyone else have any questions? Alderman Young?
Is that the world famous Earl Farrell?
It was Earl Farrell.
Earl's a great guy. I just want to take things and talk constant. So with this part of the Spark Club, I didn't know. I appreciate it. You're not done.
We got some big stuff. All right, thanks, everybody. And I always say, everybody's got my number, everybody's at me. Give me a call me anytime. Thank you.
Thank you for all you're doing, Mr. Cates. Thank you, sir. Letter C, Ms. Shelley Wilkerson. American Fireworks with a request for the use of Latimer Lakes Park. Hi, Ms. Shelley. Good evening, ma'am.
Tonight we are asking.
Excuse me, it's November the 12th. Thank you. That was a wonderful event. It was cold. It was cold. But you're giving it a good time of year. That was very generous of y'all's company to do it and to organize all the other charitable organizations and the civic organizations and I think everyone had a really good time. So you're requesting the board for the use of the park on November the 13th, 12th, I can't even read my own writing, 12th. Mr. Drew is not here this evening, but Miss Leslie is. Miss Leslie, did you have any questions for Miss?
No, Drew did, give permission already to Brent, and he's already got the information he needed. Everything's at this time, so it's just up to the board.
So you're aware that, the city requires insurance if you.
Yes.
All right. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Ms. Shelley? Anyone? Do we have a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve, the American fireworks to use Latimer Park on November 12th.
We have a motion by Alderman Dupree. We have a second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein. Aye. Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Thank y'all for doing this. It means an awful lot to our citizens. Last year was a lot of fun, despite the temperature, but especially now with inflation so high, this is really going to help a lot of people, especially those with school children. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. We thank you. Thank you, ma'am. All right. We're down to Roman numeral 5, which is Mr. Chad Barr in planning. Mr. Barr, all yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, Alderman, and the public. Yes, we've got 3 items for planning tonight. The first letter here is letter A, and this is the case that you approved. It was a request for a event center and church at 1426 Nail Road West in Suites A and B, and that was done back in May the 17th was the day. Apparently the lessee, Janice Willis, has lost the lease or the ability to lease Suites A and B, but she does have a chance to lease Suites F and G at the same address. I checked with legal counsel, and he suggested the proper thing to do would have you consider changing or approving the same conditional use, but at a different location on the same address. And also requested by Janice Willis is to change the effective or start date of the conditional use. If you remember right, one of the conditions on that particular conditional use was for a 1-year period of time. And so she also requested that the start date either start, if you were to approve the change in suite at this particular address tonight, or to change it, I would actually suggest maybe make it effective with the, to do the process, to build a person and establish the use at this location. They would need what's called a U&O permit, which stands for use and occupancy. So to do a use and occupancy permit, that would basically show that to the city, they have a business license, and they've got compliance with fire codes, building codes, and the zoning ordinance. So I would suggest perhaps make the effective date go with when the U of O is issued by the plan.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Barr? All the others, she hasn't really changed anything except the location, moving from 2 suites to another 2 suites, and the
Yes,
start
that's
date.
correct. I mean, suites A and B are actually finished inside that building. Actually, my understanding about F and B, basically, all gonna have. That back for.
Anyone have any questions or comments? Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to approve the new conditional use for the event center at 1426 Nail, moving it from suites A and B to suites F and G with a effective date when the planning department issues the use and occupation permit.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second?
I second.
A second by Alderman Johnson. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Young. Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Nay.
Alderman Guy.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Klein.
Alderman Young, was your vote yea or nay? Nay. Motion carries 5-2. All right, case number 2. Moving on down, Mr. Barr.
Yes, thank you. So we've got, here, which is 25. And for subdivision plat. You're doing great. This is the request for final plat of a minor sub. Mountains and Fairfield Metals. Section. And the Mountain Lane. C, developer and Humble Engineering. Which is of 1.2 acres. Go ahead. Yeah, those other slides are basically stating that this is a minor subdivision because of the number of lots that are involved. Definition. What you see with this slide, subdivision final plat layout. One lot was proposed, none of the land question floodplains, but positive. No new public road is proposed. Roads are area. Water is walls, water is. Portion. This is basically an enlargement of line indicating the flat egress east side. Back lines and and so some of the things that the planning considered back on June the 27th. Lots. Line is satisfactory. Environment. Proposed is 27 and about 201. That require all sides of subdivision regulation, the general suitability. Yes, all this. Suitable. Those. Area of town that. Residential. Possible. This is the requirement of sidewalks. The applicant provided blocks, north side and west sides. Last slide. Yeah, so planning commission back on. Approval. Question plat. Absent that.
Thank you, Mr. Barr, for a very thorough presentation. As usual, thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions or comments for Mr. Barr?
Mayor.
Mr. Box?
Yeah, you said on the sewer services, Horn Lake Water Association, that should be city sewer.
Thank you, sir. Anyone have any questions or comments? We have a motion.
Mayor,
Alderman Guys.
make a motion to approve case number 2085, SDFP, for a final plat of a minor subdivision named the Fountains of Fair Meadows, PD Section K, located at 4033 Fountain Lane in Horn Lake, to be used as a dental office.
Does that motion include the recommendation to complete all public improvements?
Yes, sir.
Does your motion still, a second still stand, Alderman Klein? We had a motion by Alderman Geist. We had a second by Alderman Klein. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please, Ms. Dooley.
Alderman Klein. Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Guy.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Letter C, Mr. Barr, please, sir.
Okay, yes, we'll keep rolling. Case number 2080, final plat. Subdivision. Approximately. That's highway 50. On the land. This is approximately 2.5. Slide just articulate where it's best rate minors. What we see here is the vicinity map on the computer map. What I tried to show is the area in question, bounded by the blue line, and the areas that are in yellow, are the area town or yellow area. And bounded by the blue. Stated earlier, it's 2.5 size, lots are post 100-year plain is a play. In public. Water is the water sanitary sewer. Clear things that plat as far as access north part, access one. 18 plus or minus for lot one, larger lot, yeah. Divided. Now, there's a few things that were deficient at the planning. And actually, on the applicant, changes to compliance. Doesn't hit on these regulations, talk about there's some things that restate. Added to highlight that. Line. Those. And then there was also some incongruency between zoning reg- as far as required. Fine. Then lastly, this talks about the general suitability. Slide. Actually, south of the west side is small. R. Some other things that we're planning. Site plat. Also talks about water. Staff comment back then. So the planning commission back on 7th. Subdivision final plat. Conditions attached to it. Letter A. Just utility easement on plat. That's setbacks on at the meet. B at a note. B at sidewalks procedures. At a note. Element. That's also.
Thank you, Mr. Barr. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Let's do the board first, please, sir. This Alderman Bledsoe.
Alderman, I know this is, Bledsoe, I'm sorry. So the zoning on this is commercial, plan commercial.
We'll have 2 years.
Excuse me?
They won't have 2 years to do it.
I think there is a time frame they have to for the plan.
Not suitable.
Correct, yeah, the C4 zoning district does not allow, like.
So, no apartments, is that what you said? All right. Anyone else on the board have any questions? Alderman Young.
Did I understand correctly, Mr. Barr, you said they were looking for service center?
Yes, that is correct. We do have, I believe, this month, site plan.
So if we approve this tonight, that come back before yea or nay?
You mean the site plan design? Not necessarily unless there, that were applicant.
My only concern is there's already two services. Do we have any idea what we're gonna do with that one?
There's been some talk of a amusement park, ag park.
Amusement park, like a water park?
There was gonna be a water feature.
Come back up to those houses.
Also to, and that would not be right, outdoor amusement.
So that condition, you said come back.
That's correct.
Anyone else have any questions or comments? Mr. Box?
Yes, I just wanted to correct again, that's, city sewer system. Provided that they, in the sewer north from its,
From my understanding, the sewer would come from the south and
come from the south and head in that property, but that is city.
okay.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone else have any questions or comments?
One more.
Alderman Young?
We seen, we went to, not people were. Car wash. Like we're probably gonna start getting. That's it. Is there any way, Mr. Billy, that we put more free gas station? Or what? Look other questions, definitely. So we can slow that down?
You can always do a moratorium. It's got to be reasonable though. It's got to be limited in time and you've got to be working on some sort of zoning change to regulate those type
But
businesses.
it is feasible.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Alderman Bledsoe?
Gas station, there on South Haven, this corner, not a gas station. All the way down.
Whenever those cars sit right there in the intersection, what they gonna call Ghostbusters? That's how I was looking at the traffic.
I just like to get us some. Get thing across. All the warehouses. Ever feel my senior citizen. I said,
You can sit on the porch and watch them pump gas.
right, me and Fred.
Well, we're honored to have Supervisor Caldwell and Supervisor Lee present. Thank y'all for coming. We really appreciate it. Is there any more?
I have one, Mr. Mayor, and, Chad, if we could go back, I guess, a few slides. That one there. What's that skinny line that kind of runs across lot 1 up to lot 2 there?
Talking about the gray, that
Yeah,
long
the
gray.
right, the shape.
That is actually a sanitary sewer easement. Back to the south.
That's probably what Mr. Box is.
Anything else, sir?
No, sir.
Anyone else have any questions or comments? Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Johnson?
I've moved that we accept the request for a final plat of the subdivision named the Alden Station Commercial at approximately the 1400 through 4800 through 4900 addressing block of US Highway 51 North in Horn Lake. for land zoned in C4 Planned Commercial District consisting approximately of 22.52 acres. The Planning Commission did approve this and they have recommendations, so we want to accept it with those 5 conditions that have been heard.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a motion by Alderman Johnson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Young. Alderman Dupree.
Nay.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Aye.
Alderman Klein.
Aye. Motion carries 5 in favor, 2 opposed. Thank you, Mr. Barr. We really appreciate all the thorough information.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we're down to number 6. Resolution for cleaning private property, which is a public hearing, which I now declare open. Is there anyone in here to comment on the lots and houses that are on this list for the city to clean up? Is there anyone to speak, yea or nay? Anyone on the board? Anyone in the audience? I now declare this public hearing closed. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
make a motion to approve the resolution for cleaning private property.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Dupree. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Aye.
Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Aye. Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Letter B is discussion on medical cannabis. As everybody here knows, the board and the city decided to opt out when this law was first passed because we did not understand a lot of the regulations that were going to be forthcoming about it. The bill was nearly 500 pages long, and the choices were you can opt in at any time, but if you opt in, you can't get out. So the board very wisely, I believe, decided to wait and see how things were going to shake out. I believe South Haven also did that, didn't they? Did they opt out also?
Yes, sir.
So to move forward, it's kind of broken down into 3 sections. The cultivation, the growing, the processing, where they turn it into the material, and the retail outlets. You can do all 3, you can do 2, you can do 1, you can do none. What we are asking for from the board is guidance. Does the board want to consider opting in? And if so, do they want to provide for the cultivation, processing, and distribution, or just for one? Say the retail, well, that's lack of a better word, retail distribution of product. Because if the board does want to do that, we're gonna have to get busy in the planning department with some zoning. Sir, did you raise your hand?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Does anyone on the board have any thoughts? Alderman Geis.
Mayor, yes, sir. The committee met on this and we came up with some pretty good, what we thought were regulations and zoning at the time. Since then, we've been to some training on it. Some of the stuff has been clarified that we thought we needed to add in is actually in the law, but we'll probably still add it into ours anyway. But my thought on it is this. One, there's an additional way that medical cannabis can be a business, and that is transportation as well. That one's not being mentioned. So there's a potential of transportation businesses locating somewhere. But we delayed it once because the county was gonna look at their ordinance. After looking at their ordinance, it covers a whole lot of what we had already talked about. Actually has some stuff in there that we hadn't. And, it's my opinion that maybe we don't reinvent the wheel, plagiarize the county's ordinance, add in a few of our things to make it fit within our zoning and wording, and, proceed from there.
All right, sir, you mentioned that y'all have worked up some recommendations for the board.
Yes, sir, we had, and I believe Alderman Young has them. But the county ordinance covers the majority of it. So we've got a framework there to piggyback off of, and not have to reinvent everything.
How long is the recommendation?
724 I'm just messing. It's not, actually, I believe I've sent a lot of this to Mr. Billy. And what I'll do is I'll just, if you allow me to, just hit a few of the highlights. And as Alderman Geis has indicated, and Alderman Tommy we had talked about quite extensively. We've been in this discussion several times. Just a few of the highlights, and the ordinance will follow as we work out the zoning and everything with the planning department, as you indicated. But just some of the highlights, because I know there's some individuals out here that are wanting to figure out how they're going to do their permits or whatever. Some of the main things that we looked at is operational hours, be 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., Monday through Saturday. Be closed every Sunday. Every holiday is recognized by the state of Mississippi and the city of Horn Lake. The locations for retail will not be located any closer than 2,500 feet from any church, school, or daycare, and there are no exceptions. It can be no closer. Dispensaries will not be allowed to promote, sell, distribute, or otherwise retail any additional products that does not meet the definition of medical cannabis, whether that be leaf, or whether that be oil, or whether that be a cream. The front glass must be completely cleared. We'll have no advertising in front of it so that the police can see well into the building, see what's going on at all times. Must be physical security, armed guards, video surveillance, in exterior and interior of the building at all times, as far as video surveillance. That's pretty much the blood and guts of it. There are some other things that we're going to have to work through as we wiggle through. I have no problem opting in at all, but I do think we need to discuss the zoning once we do this, and get with Mr. Billy and Mr. Chad, work through this, because there's still some discussion. I don't think we're very positive on the growing or the processing. We still need to work through that. As far as the residual smell of the product is highly potent, and I'm still not sold on it myself. I'm just not. But that's where we're at. But as far as opting in, I'm right along with Alderman Geis and Alderman Bledsoe. I have no problem going ahead and opting in, speak and go ahead. I would like to see, like Mr. Geis has said, the permits. Would like to work with the planning department on that, because the city will make absolutely zero on anything except the permits and on the tax revenue from the retail sale of the product. So there will be some additional taxes and fees added to those when they apply for their permits. But we'll work through all those with them.
Right. I want to commend the committee for the many hours you have put in and working so hard and so thoughtfully on this, because this is a very big issue for this city. I know we're not going to get into all the details tonight, but have y'all discussed how many square feet will be in the window space?
No, so we have not dissected that.
Okay,
No.
sir. And then when you say 25, sir?
When we had discussed the distances apart and from schools, we had encountered one situation. One of the places I thought of these businesses to be located was on Dancy. And I'm not sure the distance between the alternative school and portions of Dancy. So, in this ordinance, I know we said no exceptions, but I would think, there could be a potential carve out for that one particular area where we would want those to locate. You know, we definitely don't want them, you know, right across from the high school or whatever, but, if there's several acres of trees and industrial area between that school and Dancy, that should be considered.
2,500 feet is basically a half a mile.
Yes, sir.
And, when you say 2,500 feet, are you talking about from property line to property line, or are you talking about from door to door?
Those are things that.
Have to work out?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir. And I think when you're referring to tax money, it's the sales tax money.
Yes.
We would only get the permit fee and the sales tax. Now, does the board want to continue this? Alderman Bledsoe.
We have Ms. Caldwell and our supervisor back here. And she's talked a little bit on it. I had a question about opting in, opting out, and I got a different answer than what.
I've always been told if you opt in, you can't get out.
Can she address? what
If she wants to, she's
I hate to put her on the spot. That's why she makes the big money.
I thought that once you opted in, you couldn't opt out because people wouldn't want to spend all the money to set up a business if they thought you might turn around and get out. Thank you, ma'am. I think everybody can understand now why we're kind of taking our time on this. Because I really thought that if you opted in, you could not opt out, and that was to protect the investors. Because I remember one county had liquor stores in their cities, and then they voted them out. So everybody that had gone to that business was just out of business with their inventory and all their investments. So that's why I thought they put in there, if you're in, you can't get out. Do you have any thoughts on that, and you want to wait and review it, sir?
Mayor, the only entities that could opt in were the entities that opted out. If you did nothing, you were automatically in, if you didn't do anything by the deadline. So once you're in, you're in. Ball game is over unless the state law is changed.
Thank you, sir. Well, is it the feeling of the board? Alderman Young.
I just, you brought up an excellent point, and I know Mr. Bledsoe and Mr. Geis agree with this. This is a moving target. Between, not only do we have to read the 498-page draft that the House and the Senate and the governor signed, but now we got to deal with the health department, and we also got to deal with the Department of Revenue. And anytime you realize that we're here from the government and we're here to help, they ain't. So it's going to be a moving target. But I would like, Alderman Geis, I mean, do you have any more? Do you want to go ahead and make the motion? I mean, I know this is the mayor's world, but I'm just.
That's a question.
I'm sorry.
That's a quick question.
All right, Alderman Boston.
If we opted in just for the retail, could we opt in
To the others later.
for the others later?
Yes. That's the way the law reads. We don't have to do all three of them. We can do 1, 2, 3, or just one, but we have to act on each one.
Right, so if we opted in just to have the dispensary and then have our planning department work on the zoning for just the retail, then later we could come back if and do the cultivation and the processing okay, that's what I want to know.
Yeah, we can do that.
I'm all in favor of doing just the one to start.
Is it the feeling of the board then to continue with the process and ask the committee to, when it's convenient with them and when they feel like they have achieved their goal, to present it to the board for the board's final decision on it? Alderman Geis.
I guess I got a question for our city attorney. If we opted in today, that starts the clock ticking today.
Correct. Yeah, you don't need to make a vote to opt in until you have your zoning ordinance in place
So-
for whatever you want to opt in for.
So, we've got a framework with the county ordinance and our ideas. So the experts can get together and come up with a potential written ordinance for us.
I can even get this to, Mr. Jim tomorrow and have him facilitate that out to the whole complete board and the mayor so they can see what our discussion was.
We
And then
could
move forward
implement
out.
it,
Yeah.
implement it in phases, or if we're able to get the ordinance all together at one time
Let's do
that
that.
meets the approval of the board, then we can do that as well.
Well, if I understand everything correctly, looks like our biggest stumbling block right now is just the zoning.
Yes, sir, getting it in writing.
So would you like for the planning department, Mr. Barr, to start looking at some possibilities, and y'all would give us some guidance? If
Yes,
the
sir.
committee would be nice enough to stay in touch with us in the administration, so we kind of know which way you want to go. We don't know which
Yes, sir,
way we're going here.
we will.
Is that okay with everybody on the board? Is everybody comfortable?
Yes.
Okay. Letter C, discussion of fireworks. Who? Anybody? Oh, Alderman Bostic.
Yeah, I asked to put that on there. Last meeting, as all your aldermen know, what I displayed here and didn't get a response from. I got to thinking about a lot of that going on in this county, and we know fireworks are going to be sold. They're going to be shot. They're going to be sold. It's not like we can't stop that, but we can put roadblocks in the way. The reason we put stop signs out, the reason we put speed limit signs out is for the safety of our citizens. You know, within the county in a 3-week period, 450 calls were made by police officers, 450. Luckily, we didn't have a fire like we had last year, multiple fires. We did have one fire over on Benji. We're not sure how that started, but thank God that one worked okay. And I get phone calls from a lot of constituents in my area, Ward 3, Ward 4, mainly is a whole lot different than Ward 1 and Ward 2. As far as the proximity of the homes together, and these firecrackers that are shot off are so enormous at times that it really affects people mentally, you know, and we're here to look out for the safety of all this community, you know, and I speak for Ward 3, and the input that I get, you know, they want to be done with it. When you're sitting there on your back porch and July the 4th's over with, and then comes July the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th last night, still shooting fireworks. It's just annoying. And we're the only municipality in this county that allows them to be shot. And, you know, I would like to make a motion to ban the discharging of the fireworks just for the safety of our citizens, and as a board, you know, put yourself in the place of somebody that mentally of PTSD or whatever the situation is, they're trying to get some sleep and go to work the next morning, and we got people shooting fireworks at midnight, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, just out of disrespect. And at least we could step out and say, we're not going to allow this anymore. I mean, I'm just asking, you know, to consider that and to consider wards 3, 4, and 6, and 5. Because it's important that we think about the safety of our citizens. If not, we would take down every stop sign, we'd take down every speed limit sign, we'd take the stripes off the road and just not worry about it. So I'd like to make a motion to ban the discharging of fireworks in the city limits of Horn Lake.
We have a motion by Alderman Bostic. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Bostic. We have a second by Alderman Dupree. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
Alderman Dupree.
I spoke with Dale Wilson and asked him about the bags that he had, and he said every person that bought had their plastic bag with the ordinances on it. I have no problem with American fireworks. I do have a problem with the others that are selling because they are not abiding by our wishes. They were supposed to hand out ordinances with every purchase. It wasn't done. In my opinion, a lot of people just didn't know because they were not informed. When you sell fireworks 24/7, I don't care about the selling of the fireworks. What I care about is the people not obeying our ordinance. When they're shooting 3 o'clock in the morning, like we've heard, that's when I think the police officers and code enforcement, well, let's say police officers right now, should step in. And I know we're short of officers, but on these holidays, I think, I'm just saying, we need to bring in extra officers and help our citizens out that have these problems with fireworks. If you shoot, the cutoff is 11 o'clock, and you're shooting at 12 and 1 o'clock, that person should be written a ticket. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. Because it happens over and over and over. If they think they can get away with it, they're going to keep doing it. So my suggestion is not to totally ban them, but to enforce the laws that we have on the books. No disrespect to the chief whatsoever, none. But we have got to get control of this. As Alderman Bostic pointed out, some of the wards, they don't see what we see. They don't hear what we hear. It is absolutely World War III in my ward. It's not right to the citizens who have the conditions, mental condition, physical conditions. 2 people with autism, their parents had to take them down to outside of Eudora on July 3rd and 4th. Man around the corner from me who served 4 terms in Afghanistan couldn't handle it. He had to leave for 2 days. That's not fair to these people. I know we can't ban them totally because it's not going to be there. Not enough votes, but what we can do is enforce it. That's just my thoughts.
Motion is to ban the sale of fireworks in Horn Lake.
No,
Oh,
to ban the discharging of them.
The discharging of fireworks in Horn Lake. Thank you, sir. It seems to me, anybody on the board have any questions or comments? Alderman Klein.
Yeah, I asked the chief to do a little stats for me and looking at even if you banned it, it wouldn't do away with people firing them. Because South Havens has got them banned and Olive Branch. And for some reason, I cannot find those stats. Chief, did you by chance have it with you? It's a phenomenal amount over. We had 39 complaints, which is on the downside over previous years. So we're going in the right direction as far as safety and sound. We're having less complaints. But I believe South Haven was way up.
They answered 204 calls for service.
That was
Olive
fireworks
Branch was
related.
178.
And Olive Branch, what was
178.
178 compared to our 39? And those two cities have them outlawed. Just wanted y'all to know those stats.
Man.
Thank you, sir. I had heard that from a resident of South Haven that it was sounded like Iraq, even though they have banned the discharge of them. It just seems to me personally that people are going to shoot firecrackers on the 4th of July and the 3rd of July. And just like Alderman Dupree said, you know, it's going to take, and addressing Alderman Bostic's comments, some extra enforcement of this ordinance. That's just my opinion of it. Alderman Bledsoe.
One thing that Jackie hit on last time, some of them didn't give us stuff. If you didn't buy fireworks, they don't give them to you, I don't think. But if we tell them they're supposed to have this and it's supposed to be there, before they get their permit to set up the thing, our planning people, he said, you must have this before you can open. Cause Jackie, one of them, he had, what, about 6 inches, Jackie? Was 6 inches. And I have trouble reading that, especially if I got my glasses. So, I think the people that are breaking our ordinance needs to be dealt with. I know I talked to Mr. Wilson, he spent $25,000 on bags. That's a lot of money. And I guarantee he's gonna get one to everybody, but he didn't bought them. And like you said, if we ban them, you just making an ordinance that won't do any good because they're gonna shoot them anyway. I mean, South Haven, I lived in South Haven and, for years and they shot them up there. They still shoot them in Memphis. They shoot. I can't find too many places where they don't, because you got those people that above the law, they won't shoot them. So they're gonna shoot them and, I heard a few gunshots shooting. I know that's against the law. I mean, you don't shoot a firecracker like that, you know, as many times they shot them. So, and it's hard on the police department. I mean, they send them here and everybody, oh no, we ain't seen anything. I mean, that's what you get, 30-something calls and probably no arrests, or 36, whatever you had. And, you know, it puts them in a bind. And when you make an ordinance that you can't uphold, you're just making people break the law. I mean, that's all I got now.
Good point, sir. Any comments from anybody else?
Mayor.
Alderman Geis.
I'm just gonna add that, you know, since this new board, the most contentious issue we've had as a group is this one, with different opinions on it. And we've gone back and forth, and I understand why the aldermen that are against them are against them. But you would think these businesses that sat here and watched us fight this out, have the people wanting to outright ban them, would have made sure that they followed the ordinance the first time we had the 4th of July. And so what I would like to see in the future is, however this vote turns out, is that if we have businesses that are inspected and they don't have what they need, they are not allowed to open. You know, they're supposed to have a banner with that. They're supposed to have it professionally and properly printed to be given to people. All that, and it shouldn't be on an alderman to have to go and inspect those places. That's not our line of work. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. So we need somebody out there making sure they're set up right. They have what they're supposed to have from the beginning. Have some people go in and do some buys like we used to do alcohol and tobacco. And if they're in violation and that gets written up and it's a major problem, that we pull their permits and they're no longer allowed to sell. And if we end up with one or two, that we end up with one or two. If we end up with none, we end up with none. But, you know, this is gonna be continuing every holiday.
I think you made some excellent points, very logical. You don't want to punish the innocent with the guilty. Alderman Bledsoe.
I was gonna ask Billy, is that, like you go that night like Jackie did, if it's a policeman, you go in there and they're not following the ordinance, can you stop them right then and say, hey, you gotta shut down?
No, they can be cited for an ordinance violation that night, and subsequently, they can be given some advance notice for a hearing to revoke their conditional use permit.
Yeah, cause I won't shut them down too, if they don't follow the rules.
Any more questions or comments? We have a motion by Alderman Bostic to ban the discharge of fireworks in the city of Horn Lake. We have a second to the motion by Alderman Dupree. Any more questions or comments? Roll call, please, Miss Julie.
Alderman Klein,
Now, what is exactly how the motion is?
To ban the use.
Nay.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Hey,
Alderman Guy,
Nay.
Alderman Bostic,
Aye.
Alderman Johnson,
Nay.
Alderman Dupree,
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Motion passes. Excuse me, motion fails 5-2.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion, make an equal playing ground for all fireworks retailers. Just to make it real simple so they understand that we're serious. No more printing on papers of 6 inches by 6 inches, no more printing on receipts. If Mr. Wilson can spend $25,000 on bags, every single retailer, we need to put this in the code, must put it on their bags, and every bag must be given to everybody. I don't care if they buy a sparkler. They must get a bag. They must have their sign, because some of them didn't have their signs up.
If they make a purchase, they must be.
They must be given a bag, not a receipt, not a 6 by 6 piece of paper. It must be on the bag.
That's the motion you're making now.
That's the motion. That let's give everybody an equal playing field. They must put those signs up. And that's just, I just think that's an equal playing field for all the retailers that are selling it. And by God, if Mr. Wilson can do it and go above and beyond, if the others can do it, just like Mr. Guy said, if they don't do it, let's start the process to get rid of it.
We have a motion by Alderman Young. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a motion by Alderman Young. We have a second by Alderman Dupree. Is there any discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Dupree.
In the ordinance already, there's supposed to be a banner put up. Is that correct? Nobody had a banner put up.
Yeah, they all had banners up. Two of them had good banners. One of them had written on a poster board in red ink.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Anybody else?
Mayor.
Alderman Johnson.
Mayor, I just want us to take into consideration that each of these businesses may not have the same resources. We may say that, okay, because Mr. Wilson and American Fireworks they printed everything on bags, spending $25,000. I don't know if the other businesses will be able to compete with that. So I don't know how fair that would be to the other ones.
Good point. Anyone else have any? Alderman Klein.
I do like the idea of simplifying and putting everybody on the same playing field. But when we did pass it, we did allow for that small piece of paper and also for it to be on the tape when it's printed out. So, but I do like the idea. Let's simplify it and just have one process that they go in and they go look for. Kind of agree with it.
Mayor.
Alderman Guy.
I understand what Ms. Johnson's saying, and I'm thinking the solution to that is we aren't requiring them to have the number that the bigger group does. nor are we requiring them to have as fancy of a bag. It can be a paper bag with it printed on there. The sign would need to be more than a poster board that somebody hand wrote, you know. We've all ran for office and we all know you can go and order one sign online that's 4x4 and have it professionally printed for about $20 or $30. So it's not like we're, talking a load of money. And, you know, I'm all for the smaller fireworks people or smaller businesses to make their fair share of money too, but requiring them to have a bag and the sign professionally printed, it doesn't have to be top of the line. It still just needs to be something that can be handed out.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Is that fair to your motion to make it a bag?
Yeah.
As long as it's got the printing on it,
All
you don't
on
have
the
to.
bag, and they have to hand it to the people, they can't say they didn't get the law.
Right.
If they don't have the bags and they're not giving them out, then these folks right down here will take care of it.
I agree.
It's just fair, it's just fair.
You know, it's not fair for one guy to go above and above and the other ones try to slide. And
What if they don't want a bag?
Give it to them anyway.
We got people that don't want one, will not take one.
then they won't get no fireworks.
That's after the fact, that's after the purchase.
Well, I would say the employee sticks them in a bag, hands it to them, and if they throw the bag on the ground, that's, the business has done its part. As you know, there'll be bags and receipts all blowing in the wind. But, at least we're taking it out of the hands at that point of the vendors, and then we can direct toward the violators, out on the street.
Miss Julie, would you read the motion, please?
I'm not quite sure myself.
What's the motion? Excuse me.
I can,
Mr. Mayor, I wrote down that every retailer must put the ordinance information on a bag to be given to every customer.
and the signs must be, and the signs.
Well, the ordinance already requires that a sign, a minimum of 16 square feet, contain all that information. So that should be provided already.
Exactly.
Can we add that it's professionally printed?
Not handwritten.
Yes.
That's in your motion. Everybody okay with that? All right. We had a motion by Alderman Young. Who made the second? Alderman Dupree?
Yes.
Is your second still good?
Yes.
Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bostick.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed.
Mayor,
Alderman Bostick.
I had one more issue. When we wrote this ordinance, there was some confusion, and it caused confusion with the police department.
Thank you.
When we had the cutoff time for July the 4th. And at that time, we were saying midnight, and our attorney said we had to put July the 5th, 12 o'clock. So that kind of messed things up, which actually is, midnight is July the 5th, but when you read the ordinance, people think that they can shoot them on July the 5th. So we need to make an amendment with that, and what I'd like to make a motion for, that the fireworks are not shot past 10 o'clock anytime during those dates. And we just cut them off at 10 o'clock on July the 4th, and then only have them available on New Year's Eve till 1 o'clock like we had, and 10 o'clock on those dates also.
Is that your motion, sir?
Yes, sir.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Dupree. Any discussion? What night did we allow it till midnight? The night of July 3rd and night of July the 4th?
10 o'clock every night except for New Year's Eve at 1 a.m. on January the 1st.
But I mean, as of right now, what is it?
It was till midnight,
On July the 4th?
July the 4th, right? I'm backing it up to 10 o'clock on July the 4th.
So is it July the 3rd and July the 4th to 12 o'clock?
Till what time?
to 12, is that what it is?
That's what
No,
current-
Like on
no.
July the 3rd and July the 4th?
No. It was only on the 4th till midnight. Every other night was 10 o'clock. I'm making a motion to change July the 4th to 10 o'clock also.
We have a motion by Alderman Bostic. Is there a second?
10 o'clock.
Second.
Second by Alderman Young. Any discussion?
Mayor,
Alderman Johnson.
can you clarify what you're asking again for me, Alderman Boston?
The ordinance now states midnight, July the 5th, because it's technically midnight when it turns 12 o'clock. So I want, and that caused confusion with the police department because people were shooting on July the 5th thinking they could go till midnight on July the 5th. So to clarify, to eliminate that, just change the ordinance and correct it to where we just have it cut off at 10 o'clock every night during July the 4th dates and during New Year's dates, and have the only exception of 1 a.m. on January the 1st for New Year's Eve.
And no exception for July 4th.
Correct, yeah, just till 10 o'clock, yeah.
Thank you.
Our fireworks show goes almost till 10 o'clock. It goes to 9:30.
Well, that's good, they're done by 10 o'clock.
Boy. Anybody else have a comment? I
We'll have
think
to
we're
get a
going a little
P&D.
overboard on this. It is the 4th of July, the founding of this country. And I think for 2 hours more, but we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any more discussion?
Mayor,
Alderman Dupree,
if we stop it at 10 o'clock, they're still gonna be shooting to 12 or 1.
you second the motion.
Yeah. But I want to rescind my motion, my second, I want to rescind my second. And I want to include,
Wait just a minute.
wait a minute.
I'm
Now,
not-
I'm
I'm
confused.
not
Y'all got me
going on
confused.
Parliamentary procedure, but he wants to rescind his motion.
Alderman Bostic made the motion, and Alderman Young seconded this.
Oh,
That's right,
I'm
okay.
sorry.
I've done second so many times, I don't know what I'm doing.
Before that. I'm sorry.
Okay, so now I do have a statement.
All right, so Alderman Young seconded. All right, and you have a statement.
Now I have a statement.
apologize, I thought you.
That's
said
okay.
that.
That's all right. So if we stop it at 10, they're gonna shoot to 12 or 1 o'clock anyway, right? So if you keep it at midnight, they're gonna shoot to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning like it has been done. Or, that's absolutely. So 10 o'clock seems fair because you know they're gonna shoot it afterwards. So why not back it up? And they're gonna shoot to our original deadline anyway.
We have a motion to stop the discharge of fireworks on the night of July the 4th at 10 p.m. We have a motion by Alderman Bostic, a second. I stand corrected and apologize. A second is Alderman Young. Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Young,
Aye.
Alderman Dupree,
Aye.
Alderman Johnson,
Nay.
Alderman Bostic,
Aye.
Alderman Geis,
Nay.
Alderman Bledsoe,
Nay.
Alderman Klein.
Nay.
Motion is defeated 4-3.
Mayor, sorry to disturb you one more time.
But I mean, we've got the supervisors here to speak to us. We've got the supervisors coming in to speak to us.
That's fine.
This should have been on the, is this about the fireworks ordinance?
We need to clear up that midnight on the deal. We need to clear that up for the fire department, and we need to write the ordinance at least to 11:59 or whatever it is, to where it doesn't show July the 5th anywhere on that ordinance.
I second that.
All right. To ban the discharge of fireworks after 11:59 on the night of July the 4th. Is that correct, sir? We have a motion by Alderman Bostic. We have a second by Alderman Geis. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein,
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe,
Aye.
Alderman Geis,
Aye.
Alderman Bostic,
Aye.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Dupree,
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed.
Mayor,
Sir,
I just want to say that I'm glad this is over.
Sir?
It's not. I'm just glad this is over.
Oh, until next
Well,
time.
it'll be over, it'll be the next meeting.
It is.
All right, citizens' remarks. Mr. Brown has left the building. Ms. Catherine Yarborough. Is that correct, Yarborough?
Yes.
Would you step forward up to the podium, please, ma'am? Would you come up to the podium, please, ma'am? Good to see you again, Ms. Catherine.
Nice to meet you.
Would you state your name and address for her, please?
Catherine with a C, Yarborough, Yarbrough. Mr. Latimer, the reason I'm here tonight was because of the cannabis discussion. And I understand that the planning is going to take a look at the maps, but the one thing I would ask is reconsider the 2,500 feet. It's almost impossible. We have been working on the city of Horn Lake since February, trying to find a commercial location. And if it becomes 2,500 feet with no waiver, at least the state gave us the option to get a waiver. Some churches will not give us a waiver. Some churches will consider it. But if it's 2,500 feet with no waiver, it's impossible. And that was all I needed.
Thank you, ma'am. Did anyone have any questions for Ms. Catherine?
Mayor,
Alderman Guy.
I think this is more for the city attorney. My understanding of the law is where our ordinance will pass or fail is if it's unreasonable. So if our distances make it to the point when it's all plotted out by planning and stuff that there's nowhere for these businesses to operate, then we would, to be in compliance with the law, we will have to adjust it, is my understanding.
I can only offer this hint. South Haven did a terrible job. They created these two medical districts. The North District, not that I want to be in South Haven. I have my heart set on Horn Lake. But South Haven's North District is around the hospital. Baptist Hospital is not going to let a cannabis dispensary anywhere near it. They fought Methodist Hospital in Olive Branch for years because Mississippi is a certificate of need state. Baptist is not going to let anybody close to that hospital. The South Medical District in South Haven has 10 churches. 10 churches and 5 schools. Olive Branch did a better job. Number one, they opted in. They were the first municipality to opt in. What their planning people did, and I don't know if you've looked at the Olive Branch map, they took we're allowed C1, C2, C3. I wished it was C4 because a lot of C4 is stricter, more requirements than C1, C2, C3 because you got to have a plat and you got to have an engineer and you got to have this and that. But they left off C4. C1, C2, C3. They colored the map. And then the planning department found every single school, every church, every daycare center, and they did black swirly things. So we got the pink that's commercial that we can be in. And then they overlaid these big black swirly circles, which took out 75% of the city. But at least it gives us something to look at. South Haven is just.
Thank you, ma'am. But there's a 3-minute time limit. I apologize on these, but the committee has heard your questions there about reducing it from 2,500 to 1,500 square feet.
The state gives us 1,000 to a church and school, 1,500 between dispensaries.
All right, thank you, ma'am. All right. Mayor, Alderman correspondence. I want to thank Commissioner Caldwell and Mississippi Department of Transportation for the wonderful work on Highway 302. It's resurfaced all the way from Horn Lake Road up to the expressway. If Commissioner Caldwell were here, we'd love to thank him and recognize him. That is really all I have at the present time. Do you have anything, Alderman Young?
I have just three real quick things, Mayor, if I may. This is actually for Mr. Barr and for, Mr. Box. The gas station over across the street from us, that they're developing. There was a discussion, the gentleman coming up here, and he was talking about the detention, retention, whatever that muddy pond was over there between that and the fence. Can we please get that looked at and repaired and done whatever we gotta do on our end of as a city to make sure that it is not a infested area as he described, because I was over today and it's pretty cotton picking nasty. It's a detention pond. It's now become a retention pond. So if we can just look at that and see what we need to do to fix that, drain it out, put another fence up, make the landowner do whatever they gotta do to fix it.
The question is, what is it infested with? Are we talking bugs or
I think-
trash or, no, the question is, Alderman Young, what's it infested with? Is it trash? Is it bugs or is
All
it?
the above.
It's all the above. Okay. All right.
The next thing is, I just want to plug National Night Out again, July the 30th, Latimer Lakes Park. Sheriff's Department, the wing will be there. Hot dogs and snacks and stuff like that for all their participants. Miss Lynn Fitch, the top cop in the state of Mississippi, is coming. No pressure, chief. Just come out, spread the word. We'd love to see everybody there. This is a great thing that's going to happen. It's going to help our city. The next thing is, please remember your American Legion. If you're not a member and you are a veteran, we'd love to have you. And remember, the second Saturday of every month, we have a breakfast. Y'all come eat with us, okay? That's all I got, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Alderman Dupree.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to thank the Dream Center for coming out Saturday and, putting on their school supply giveaway. It was an awesome event. I can't remember what they said, but it was over almost 2,000 people that came through there, and they were outfitted with school supplies, and that was a great event. I really appreciate that. So neighborhood watch meeting is this Saturday here at 2 p.m. So if you guys want to get involved, it's a great thing that we got going on. It's new, and the more people we got involved, the safer our city's going to be. So we really want you guys to come out. The Optimist Club meeting, another good thing that's going on in Horn Lake. The next meeting is Tuesday on the 26th at 6 p.m. here. Please come get involved with that. It's a great outreach for kids. And I just want to thank all the department heads for what they've done. I've been watching the last couple of weeks. Mr. Box, I mean, he's got his guys out there working, and I really appreciate that. Chief Rao, he's doing the best he can with what he's got. I just think we need some more, but he's vetting people, and I appreciate that. So I just want to point that out.
Thank you, sir, especially for mentioning again the Dream Center. I was negligent in that. It was a wonderful event. Alderman Johnson.
Yes, Mayor. I also want to say thanks to the Dream Center. That was an awesome event. Horn Lake Intermediate will be hosting a back-to-school bash as well for the entire community. It is on August 6th, beginning at 10 o'clock a.m. There will be school supplies given away, backpacks as well. Different vendors will be there. Everyone is invited to attend. If you are a business owner and would like to be a vendor or participate in any way, there is a sign up on our school website. So please join us. It is a community event, and we look forward to having everyone there.
Alderman Boston.
I'm good.
Alderman Geis.
No, sir.
Alderman Bledsoe.
No.
Alderman Klein.
No, sir.
All right. Chief Rowell, do you have anything for the board, sir?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have anything tonight.
Anyone have any questions, comments for Chief Rowell? Alderman Bledsoe?
Hey, Chief, that park over there at Alden Lake, can you send the code by there and see if they can cut it? I got complaints grass at Miss Johnson's place. You know it will.
We can't cut private property.
Well, we can charge them then.
Put on a resolution.
I think what Alderman Bledsoe is talking about is our 21-19-11 resolution.
What?
The cleaning resolution that we did
Okay.
tonight, go through that
Okay,
process for
right.
that particular property.
Thank you, sir. I got you. All right. Anybody else? Mr. Box, you have anything, sir?
Thank you, Mayor. No, I don't have anything tonight.
Anybody got questions or comments for Mr. Box? Alderman Young?
Welcome back, Cotter.
Not till Wednesday.
Well, just close enough. Can we please start looking at the storm drains and get back on that, bandwagon before this rainy season, if it ever hits us again? Because when it does, I'm afraid we're gonna start with the same issues that we had in the spring. We really need to have those cleaned out, sir, across the city.
We'll get on it.
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else? Chief Limbo, you have anything, sir?
No, sir, I don't have anything.
Anybody have questions, comments, Chief Limbo?
Yes.
Alderman Craig?
What's the update on your, ladder trucks? Is it ordered or?
Yeah, you ordered it almost 6 months ago, right? It'll probably be, it's still probably at least 6 to 12 months out. No good one. We ordered the ambulance too, you should well know, but I think the new ambulance that we ordered back at the first of our budget year they're saying we should have it here in August, hoping to get it in this budget purchase before the end of September.
Right.
I'm pushing as hard as I can for the ambulance, so.
Alderman Young still wants that bell on there.
Yeah, we got plenty of time to put the bell on.
Anything else? Ms. Leslie, you have anything for the board?
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to invite everybody to our last movie night over at the park at Latimer. It'll start at 7. We have board games and yard games, and the movie that we'll be playing is Sing 2. So just come out and have a good time with everybody. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody have any questions? Alderman Young?
Ma'am, I am so glad that Mr. Drew promoted you to Assistant Park Director. That is awesome, and I congratulate you, and I look forward to your awesome service to this city through that office.
Thank you. I appreciate the comments.
Mr. Malavasi, you have anything, sir?
Nothing to present tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Vance? Mr. Barr, you have anything else for the board?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one item. We did get notice from one of the planning commissioners is they will be leaving the city here in the near future. So we will need a new appointment for Ward number 2 for a planning commissioner. I'm not sure exactly when. I'm trying to get more facts as far as when that seat might be vacant on the planning commission.
Thank you, sir. Anybody have any questions for Mr. Barr? Mr. Robinson, you have anything for the board?
Yes, I had placed at your seat the financial chart that I do on the sales tax. You'll see the last one that came in there was our one of our third highest for the year, $657,997.52. So that was better than last year by $63,244. So still running strong with sales tax. We've had 3 months in a row over the 600,000 mark. So let's pray that the economy keeps going well and people keep spending. So that's a good trend that we have going there. Also, I placed at your seat, you'll see that Monday, our second installment of the ARPA funds that were scheduled in July came in. That second installment was $3,352,344. So on the flip side of that sheet, you'll see that our complete ARPA fund now is $6,727,669. So that you'll see that gaining interest. Again, we will in the future need to start talking about that. I know Lieutenant Governor recommended everybody sitting on that for a while. But the regulations do say that we have to have it designated by 2024. So we have to have the projects and programs designated what we're going to spend that for by 2024, and it will have to be spent by 2026. So we have time. I know Vince is sitting down here and he's already got it all figured out because we have enough projects, double that amount on some of the sheets that Vince gives me for over 12 million. So, but that is good that we got that last installment of the ARPA funds in there. I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank you, sir. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Robinson? Alderman Klein.
Last would be for you, Jim, and Mr. Benz. So how are we coming on our road management? Are we on track to have it in this budget year, coming budget year?
We are, and we will talk about that a little bit later. I had mentioned to you that the internet sales funds that we've been collecting since they had initiated that, we have collected close to $2 million already in that fund. Let me just, well, you'll see on that, the flip side of that sheet, it's $1,702,955. So, and that is at the 75%. They phased this in. So next year we will go to 100%. Right now we're collecting at 75%. Next year we'll go to 100. And I've projected in next year's budget $1.5 million. So we add $1.5 million to that $1.7 million. And, Vince can speak to this, when he presented his program, we looked at $3 million a year for however long it takes to maintain our roads. So next year we're set. But the following year, I was sharing with a couple aldermen, 2024, we will have to start looking at bonds to make up the difference. But we're going to have the $3 million next year to start that project. And then I'm projecting that the internet sales funds will get $1.5 million every year. So we'll have to add $1.5 million from somewhere every year to maintain that program, hopefully till eternity, and keep the roads here in Horn Lake the best shape they can be.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Alderman Dupree.
Hey, Jim, I know we got that $250,000 from the state for the Twin Lakes water filtration system. I know I've asked you. It's in the bank drawing interest, correct?
Correct, it is, and I just had to complete the annual, I have to do an annual report, our quarterly report on that, and just had to turn that in this week. I have spoken to Vince, because right now we're reporting, basically the report shows the money in the bank drawing interest, and we're not putting any project description down there yet, but Vince can speak to it. I know they have gone out to advertisement or getting ready to on that, but hopefully we'll be able to start that soon.
Yeah, that's the question I had for Mr. Benson. Should have asked earlier. I know we'd spoken before, but have bids gone out?
No, sir, not yet. We're expecting to advertise probably in the middle of August for that project.
Okay, I thought it was this month. So the sooner the better, because we're still having lots of trouble with our water over there.
Yes.
So you can, maybe put that out as soon as you can. That would be great. Thank you.
Anything else, Alderman?
Mayor.
Alderman Guys.
What's the status on our audit?
Well, Mr. David, has been under the weather here lately. I was under the impression that he was going to have a report last board meeting. He informed me that when he turns in the report, there's a internal review process of folks that have not worked on the audit go through the whole thing too. So there's kind of two checks and balances. So I emailed him yesterday, and he said that they're in that review process. And from his email, he said he hopes to have be able to present to you the first meeting in August, which will be our next board meeting. I'm going to try to hold him to that, since I was under the impression he was going to have it done in July. But the review process that they're doing is underway. I know I sent him some corrections that I had seen, just grammatical corrections. Billy's reviewing it too, and if he has any corrections, that most of the corrections we have are just grammatical things that they've kind of forgot to change in there. But hopefully next board meeting we'll have that final.
That projected date come before us, send it to us, changes.
I will.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Campbell, do you have anything, sir?
I do not, Mr. Mayor.
All right. That being that, do we have a motion to close determination?
Mayor,
Alderman Geist.
I make a motion going to close determination.
We have a motion by Alderman Geist. Do we have a second? Second by Alderman Bledsoe. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Young,
Aye.
Alderman Dupree,
Aye.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Bostic,
Aye.
Alderman Geist,
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe, Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. If y'all will excuse us a moment.
It's big, yeah.